People try to characterize us as not wanting to protect orcas from vessel effects because we don't support the current proposal under consideration in the Washington state legislature for a 1,000-yard buffer around the southern residents. This couldn't be further from the truth. We strongly support the implementation of science-based regulations that are simple to understand, enforceable, and most importantly, meaningful to the whales. Unfortunately, we don't think the Bill 5371 meets any of these criteria. This was the scene in San Juan Channel on April 5th, just one of countless experiences we've had like this while watching southern residents over the last 2 decades. Without someone there to flag down private boaters, they're often unaware of the presence of the whales, and if they do see them, they often either don't know the regulations or how to measure the speeds and distances they're supposed to keep from the whales. The Orca Behavior Institute monitored vessel traffic around the whales over the last 2 seasons to put some numbers to these observations. Our data corroborates other studies showing that WDFW enforcement is only present around killer whales about 7% of the time during the peak summer season and not at all in the off-season. Education vessels like Soundwatch and Straightwatch are only there about 15% of the time. Professional whale watch vessels can help make up this difference. The data shows that when commercial whale watch operators are on scene, regulation infractions by private boaters are cut in half. In 2022, only commercial whale watch vessels were restricted to 1,000 yards around southern residents for the entire year, and we found that they were on scene within 1 mile of the whales less than 5% of the time. This is because most companies opt not to view whales at this distance, meaning they won't be present to model correct viewing behavior. What results are scenes like this. Regardless of the regulations, if there's no one on scene to show them otherwise, recreational boaters end up driving too fast, too close to the whales, and there's no reason to believe this will change with new regulations in place. In areas like this, right outside Friday Harbor, San Juan Channel is less than 2,000 yards across, meaning that when whales are in the middle of the channel, it would be impossible to comply with a 1,000-yard buffer. They were in San Juan Channel for over 8 hours on this day, a Wednesday in April. Imagine what this scene could look like on a weekend in July. The proposal for 1,000 yards comes from a misrepresentation of recent research and is supported by those who are advocating for what sounds on paper like a good idea, giving the whales more space. But it's not a coincidence that the organizations that are against this proposal are the ones who are regularly out in the field observing the reality of the situation. We all want the southern residents to have the best possible foraging opportunities in the Salish Sea. We believe they get the best protection when all vessels have the same viewing distances and that these distances are practical, measurable, enforceable, and justified by the science. A 500-yard buffer would be all of these things. A 1,000-yard buffer is not.